Over at Riggs tonight.
Greatest thing we ever did was build an indoor facility.
Absolutely.
Yep.
No doubt. So from 8 wins to 10 to 11 to 12. It's amazing. All right.
Coach, the news came out yesterday about Sage Surratt. How big of a loss is that for Wake?
Oh man, he's a great player. You hate it for them. I mean, he is a really good receiver. Great, as I was talking about him yesterday. Great ball skills, great finisher on the ball. He's an excellent leader. So I mean, that's a tough loss for him for sure. They've got a good group of receivers. They're well coached and got solid depth, but he's definitely a difference maker.
With that little slow route lead they have, how much can you negate that by controlling obstacles?
Well, I mean, that's what you know. They're pretty good up front, and they're physical, and they're finishers, kind of like we like to pride ourselves on finishing. But I definitely think, if you can create leakage, number one, if you can win some matchups, if you can create a new line of scrimmage, then that ride time has to shorten. I'm sure they have it's a little different method, I'm sure an ideal amount of time that they would like, kind of like a quarterback. You always have an internal clock in your head at the quarterback. Clock's ticking. And you want to get that ball going, 1.8, 2.4. You want that ball out of there. And I'm sure they have a timing that's perfect for them, as far as the coordination of the routes and all that. So, yeah, I mean, if you can win in the trenches, and again, create quicker decisions, a little indecisiveness, then hopefully that's an advantage for them. It's easier said than done. I mean, they're very good at it, and they have a lot of answers. So if you just try to light up, bring pressure, they've got some answers built in that can hurt you. No doubt, and that was what we were so good at last year. I mean, Christian and Cleveland in particular had a great game against these guys. They were just disruptive, and it really affected them. For sure, that's a major goal for us.
To tag onto that same question, what about the back end, your safeties? How disciplined do they got to be versus other teams right here with that play action being as long held as it is?
Yeah, if you're in some of their routes are, like I said, it's well coordinated from a timing standpoint. But if you're peeking in the backfield, you get in trouble. So you have to be incredibly disciplined. The eye discipline in this game is almost like playing a triple option team. It's that level. There's no float time. You get your eyes in the backfield, and these guys will hurt you. They'll go right by you, and you start guessing and trying to do too much. So just really having your eyes on the right things and trusting that, and let everybody do their job. And everybody's got to, we got to be very gap sound. Again, just like you're playing an option team, because they can expose you and they find it. And the quarterback's a factor. He runs the ball, he blocks. He's an extra blocker in a lot of their plays. He's like boxing people out. So it's a conflict for sure on the back end. And our ends especially, they've got to be very disciplined with their eyes too, because there's a lot going on. So it's definitely going to be a challenge. And we got to win. We got to be able to play man coverage outside. When we ask them to cover, we got to do a great job, because they do an excellent job. They're physical. The quarterback, he's not afraid to let it go, and so we've got a challenge at all three levels.
Coach, a lot was made about the orange britches last week. You had your block C Clemson hat on. Has that kind of become your?
I had it on the week before, I think.
Did you have it on against NC State?
November.
Oh, okay.
Anytime as soon as we get to November, I switched to the block C. I've been doing that a few years now, I guess. But I guess it's been, I don't know, maybe it might have been 3 years ago or so. I can't remember.
16.
Maybe it was 16 or 15. I started breaking the year down into kind of phases and just helping us focus on the game. And so, again, November's championship phase for us. And so far we've been still in the division hunt. We've been in the ACC championship hunt, but even if you weren't, you still got the state championship. And so it's just kind of a championship phase, and you're trying to earn postseason. If you weren't in the playoffs, you're still trying to get in some type of postseason bowl and win that championship. That's a championship of its own. So that's just kind of been how we've broken it down. It's been good.
Do you know fans call you sweatshirt dad?
No, I didn't know. I've been wearing a sweatshirt for a long time. Yeah, Abe tried to switch one out. Oh, they like it. Oh,
Yeah.
well, good. Yeah, I've always worn a sweatshirt when it got cold. You know, I just don't like big heavy coats, and I almost broke out a heavy coat. I was cold, but I looked around, and nobody else had on a big heavy coat in that fourth quarter, because it was just kind of cold, and I was afraid I was going to lose my man card if Abe had it ready, but I was just waiting for somebody else to get a coat, but nobody else did. So I was like, well, sweatshirt the whole game here. So it's going to be cold, and then they throw Gatorade. It was real cold.
Did you laugh? You're number 3 in the rankings, and all that angst from a week ago means nothing.
Yeah, and lose this week, and that don't mean nothing either. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, like I said, we're kind of, y'all remember George Jefferson? Moving on up. We're moving on up. So
These young people don't.
yeah, that was real TV back in the day. You know, some good stuff right there. But, yeah, just trying to stay focused on the weight. I mean, it just doesn't matter. We're fortunate because here we are in November, mid-November, and we still control our destiny. And there's a lot of teams out there who don't. You know, they're not necessarily out of it, but you know, they're not driving the car. They're just kind of a passenger. And you know, so we're in a good spot. We just got to continue to play well, and we got a huge challenge ahead. It's going to take, you know, 3 more great games for us to solidify ourselves, and that's the way it ought to be. You know, I mean, you got to earn your way there. We're going to have to earn our way, and you can't win 13 till you win 11. And so that's what we got an opportunity to do this week. It's going to take a really good performance by our guys.
Injury-wise, still healthy?
Yeah.
Here at the latter part of the season, you were managing, you had a few red shirts you were still managing as of now. Guys like Tyson, what's the plan for those guys?
Yeah, I think he's got 1 game left, and we're just sitting on it. We're just kind of sitting on it. And just probably hold it as long as we can until, you know, you'd like to get through the ACC championship game if you could. And if we're fortunate enough to get in the playoffs, it sure would be nice to know that you got another guy that could has a game left if you had to have it in a situation. He's a really good player. So, you know, he just kind of worked out that way. Jalen Lay's the same way. He's got 1 left. McGuire, he's got 1 left. So there's a few guys we've been holding. Swanson, Aiden, he's got 2 left. Because he's a really good kickoff guy too. And so you know, if something happened to Potter or something like that, you know, he's a difference maker for sure when it comes to kicking the ball off. And so we're just kind of holding a few guys, and then we got a few others that we'll go ahead and play when if the situation arises where we can play.
Pretty unusual to have a bye week the week before South Carolina. How good would that be for these guys if they can finish strong on Saturday?
Yeah, I don't think it's been a long time. It's been a while since we've had a bye week, but it's you know, it's great. I think anytime you can get a bye week, especially late in the season, it's a blessing for you, because usually it's just, you know, it's a long year, it's a grind. You always got, even if you're healthy, nobody's really fully healthy. You always have bumps and bruises and aches and pains, and to be able to get a little more time, I think would be great. And you know, South Carolina's it's always such a busy week, you know, and it's kind of a season of its own. Thanksgiving and all that, so everything's kind of ramped up, and you know, the week is going to work, so to be able to have a little extra time is great. They got an open day too, so it's good for both teams.
Did football streaming down?
I mean, they just physically got after him, and they played a lot of man coverage. They mixed it up. They played some zone as well, but they just did a good job of mixing coverages, and they just affected them. You know, kind of what we were talking about earlier. They affected their rhythm, and with 2 ways. They got after them up front, and I thought you know, held their own. Their left tackle is a great player, and I thought Vitex gave him some challenges throughout the game, and but their ability to cover outside, I think affected some of the rhythm and the timing as well. And then they brought pressure. I mean, they did a good job of just mixing it all up, and they just never really got comfortable. So you got to give them a lot of credit for that. They really did a nice job, and but they were physical. And if you don't play these guys, because Wake is a physical team, and it starts with that offensive line, because they get after them. And those backs punish you when you tackle them. I mean, they're just downhill physical guys that like it. And so I just think they, just kind of won some matchups. Again, it's their ability to cover outside. Wake's been hitting a lot of 50-50 balls, a bunch of them. And then they had a couple of plays that they dropped a couple of balls that they've been making. They had one in that number 2 coming across that would have gone a ways, and he didn't hang on to the ball. So they just missed a few plays. And, when you're in a game like that, those plays are critical. So just VTech just was the better team on that day. But Wake's had a heck of a year, and they'll be coming here to win. No doubt about that.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.